Okay, so this was question 7, and it was a functions question. And I know a lot of us didn't like part A because you might have done a lot of work for functions, and then all of a sudden it's asking for an algebra skill, which is factorizing. So it says write down the two factors of f of x. But if we look at f of x, it's a quadratic, all right? And quadratics can be factorized. So it must be factorizable by the big X method, or just the regular method. We don't need the minus b, because if it was the minus b, there would be a couple of clues. It might say something like give your answer plus or minus in the form of a plus or minus b, or square root b. It might ask for your answer to be in third form, but it doesn't ask for any of that. All right, so I'm going to assume correctly that I can factorize it using the big X method. All right, so I need factors of minus 6 that when I add together give me minus 1, which is kind of hidden in there, and that is 3 and minus 2, because 3 multiplied by minus 2 will give me minus 6. Okay, that's good. And 3 times x is 3x. 2x multiplied by minus 2 is minus 4x. Minus 4x plus 3x gives me minus 1x. So that works. So to finish off this question, I just put brackets 2x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 2. And that was part A. Then it says, hence or otherwise solve for f of x is equal to 0. So in other words, what they're saying is, right, if this, f of x is this guy. This is f of x. And they're saying, what if he is equal to 0? And we've just turned it into these factors here as well. So that means 2x plus 3 bracket x minus 2 is equal to 0, which means that 2x plus 3 is equal to 0 and x minus 2 is equal to 0. The reason why that makes sense is because if I let this be 0, right, so x minus 2 is equal to 0, yeah, if I let that equal 0, then it doesn't matter what's in these brackets, because anything multiplied by 0 gives me 0. And it's the same if this is equal to 0, which is what I've assumed here, because anything in here multiplied by 0 will give me 0. So it works, all right? So I get x is equal to minus 3 over 2 here, and I get x is equal to 2 here. So there are my answers, all right, and solved. The next one says, draw the graph of the function f of x is equal to that in the domain of minus 2 is to 2. Now, I just did a bit of prep work on this to save a bit of time, all right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to highlight the parts that are going to stay the same. So this 2 is going to stay the same. This guy, and this guy. They're all going to stay the same. So what I'll do is I'll write them out. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, little 2, little 2, little 2, little 2, little 2, minus, 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 minus 6, minus 6, minus 6, minus 6, minus 6. And where I see x, I just put in brackets. Okay. All right. And then in this first line here, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, and 2. So let's find out what the value of y is. So if I go minus 2 to be squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Minus 2 is 4. So 8 plus 4 is 12. Take away 6 is 6. So my first value of y is 6, which means my first point is where x is minus 2, y is 6. So my point is minus 2, 6. So I'll go to where that is on this. So there's minus 2 on the x-axis. There's 6 on the y-axis. So I'm going to put that there. Okay. Right. Let's go to the next one. Minus 1 to be squared is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Minus 1 is plus 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Take away 6 is minus 3. Right? So my next point is minus 1, minus 3. So minus 1 down to minus 3. So I will put that there. So minus 1 minus 3 goes here. All right, let's go to the next one. 0, this is handy because 0 squared is 0 times 2 is 0, minus 0 is 0, minus 6 is just minus 6. So 0 minus 6 here, which is going to go here. All right, and the next one. So 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2, minus 1 is 1, minus 6 is minus 5. So the next one is 1 minus 5. So he's going to 1 minus 5 is there. And finally, we have 2 squared is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 minus 2 is 6, 6 minus 6 is 0. So the next one is 2, 0. All right, which is this guy here. All right, and then you just have to carefully connect the dots there, okay? Okay, and that was it drawn on the graph. So let's have a look at the next questions. Oh, by the way, just to point out, when you solved this here, you got two answers. You got minus 3 over 2 and 2 as your x values when they were equal to 0 or when y is equal to 0. So when y is equal to 0, you're all along here. And look, you've got 2, and that's roughly minus 1.5 there. All right? So just to show you what the purpose of factorizing there is for. Use your graph to show that your answers from part B are correct. Well, I just did that, but I'll do it again. So if you look here and here, okay? So that's where if cross the x-axis, that's minus 3 over 2, and that's 2. X is equal to 2, x is equal to that, and that proves this section here, okay? And then it says, on your graph, show the axis symmetry of the function, right? Write down the equation of this axis in the symmetry below. All right, so we want the symmetry, which is going to be roughly about here. It looks like it's going to be about here, so if I do that there, all right, and this is y is equal to a half, all right, so y is equal to a half, okay? So what that means is like, is it y or x actually? Hang on. Sorry lads, my apologies, it's x. X is equal to a half. All right, x is equal to a half. And like x is equal to 1 is this entire line here, from here and all the way down here. X is equal to 2, be all the way down here and here. So this is x is equal to a half. All right, that's the axis of symmetry there. All right, and that was the functions question.